So, welcome everybody to the space. First time here, I understand.
Hi.
Yes.
Yes.
That is so true.
I'm not going to be able to talk in that great accent you do, so whatever you guys do is fine with me.
Well, if
What
you've done
accent?
this a long enough time, you don't even think about it. It just comes out.
Yes, fantastic.
It kind of goes with the territory.
Aye.
So great to have you. This is part 2, I would say, of podcasting for Dickens' 25th anniversary. The first round was about a week ago,
Aye.
way pre-Dickens, way in a week. We had Alan and company, and now today we have George, Karen, and Daniel. We have Joe, and Joe he's got such a great outfit
Yes. And
that it's translucent.
and he's been very dieting quite a bit. He's lost quite a bit of weight, as you see here.
He's also
Joe.
being remarkably
Come up a
quiet.
little.
Yes.
Oh,
which
yes.
is
How
unusual
is
for
that
him,
possible for Joseph?
Not possible. I can't say enough. You know, both of you have been photographed more.
Oh.
I think
yeah.
you're one of the most photographed Long Islanders, to be very honest with you.
I have
More
no
him than
idea.
myself, but-
Who knows? Today, I can't tell you how many. Can I have your picture? Can I have your picture? Can I have a picture with you? Of course you may.
So when you first started doing this, you said 2008, right?
No,
No.
He's been doing this since 1999.
The festival started in 1997 under Jean Garant.
Yes.
In 1999, Joseph and I and several others were asked to come to a rehearsal. The gent in charge of the characters at the time asked us if we could be chimney sweeps. I said yes, because I had no idea. The following week, it was just Joseph and I, and the others never showed up. Joe had gone to the library, see what mid-19th century chimney sweeps looks like. And we got together, and she made this for me. And
Hasn't
I've
been
been wearing it
washed
ever
since.
since. Most of this is still my original 1999 costume.
This is incredible. You and Joe were friends, obviously.
Yeah,
Yes.
we knew each other beforehand, but then became really close afterwards.
So is there a drama in your background? There's got to be, right? Arts, drama, something. You don't just...
I've been acting for over 30 years,
There you go. Okay.
but in various formats here and there.
Yeah, we've been part of the Upper Room Ministries drama crew
There you go.
since 1984,
85.
85.
Right, something like that.
Then you come into the picture when?
About the same time.
Like 3 years prior to them starting to act, if that's what you mean. But
Roughly that my start
my
day was
first
91.
acting would have been If I Die, so 93.
Yeah,
That could be
1993,
something
the
like that,
church.
yeah.
So you've become synonymous with this Dickens Festival. We saw Jean Garant today.
Yes,
At
she's
the,
I love her.
just for her. I believe the story goes she had gone away. She saw this in another northeast New England town. Had to bring it back.
Sounds
Did.
familiar, Yeah.
Thank God.
She wanted to do something for the merchants of Port Jefferson for the winter. And she had seen a Victorian festival up in Boston, I believe it was. And she says, you know what? We're a port town. Why can't we have a festival to celebrate Charles Dickens? Because you have the Barnum House, which is a strong history to Charles Dickens. You have the Port Jefferson Ferry with Bridgeport, which is the Charles Dickens Museums over there. Plus you have the very strong tie of Drown Meadow. Drown Meadow is a city in England also.
Wow, what a tie-in. That's
So
incredible.
it's just all fit together, all the pieces. And she just wanted to do something special. She said the first 2 years they were like hodgepodge costumes that they found. Then
Okay.
Nan came into the picture.
May she
And-
rest in peace.
And
May she rest in peace, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And she upped it a notch. So everybody would rent their costumes every year. Some, as the time went on, started making their own, like I had made his. In 2004, I joined as just Eliza Fairfax, the flower lady. And I would sell my wares. And now I've graduated and I bought the flower shop. Now I had the girls go out and sell the flowers. But in 2008, I was still volunteering, and I was frustrated because there was so many things not working right with the festival as far as the street characters and people that weren't children friendly to me.
Yeah, we had that year. That was actually my first year doing this. There was a lot of, shall we say, after hours jokes and whatnot going on.
Which should
And
not happen.
There's children everywhere in this festival, so we had to coordinate in a way to get this so that it would not happen anymore.
My goal was completely family friendly. So I went to Alan Barella, who I found was running the Arts Council that had just taken it over from another group. And I said, look, what can I do? I have a background in costumes. I have a background in theater. I'm great with kids, and I'm great at organizing. So what can I do to help?
Awesome.
And
Wow.
I've been here ever since.
And so the first two to 5 years, was there always a good, nice crowd? And was it always a weekend?
It was always one weekend.
Yep.
It was the opening ceremonies on Friday evening
Yep.
with the lantern dedications.
Yep.
Then we would go into just the day of festivities on Saturday. There was no opening parade at that point.
At that point, yep.
And then we had the closing parade and closing, the closing festivals and closing parade with tree lighting.
Right.
Culminating with the lighting of
I
the
think
tree in front of
Joseph's
Village Hall.
Right, right.
Yep.
I bet you this is Joseph.
Oh, here
Hi.
he comes, Joseph.
Just follow your nose.
Good. Come right in, Joseph.
Did you get waylaid, sir?
We had you covered no matter what.
You were here when the elected.
Come right in, Joe. Come right around.
His ears were ringing.
Come right around. No worries. Look what the cat brought in. You got Joe. He must be. You're just super entertainers, all of you. I can't say enough. It's so great. I saw you 2 months ago outside Locals, and
Oh, yeah?
I was like a little kid. I said to my wife, "Take a picture of me and George," and it was like 2 months ago. And
That was the Sea Shanty Festival.
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. How'd you do out there? Why don't we talk about like really what happened today? Because that's what the excitement is today.
Oh,
Oh,
it's,
my
well,
God.
Today
the real star of the
was
show
an
is Port
absolute
Jefferson.
madhouse.
Manhouse.
There's more people than I've seen at this festival in 5 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well,
Because
there was-
I'm holed up in here.
It's a long 2 years since this happened.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
people are waiting to get out of the house, get back into
Sure.
what
Sense of
joy of the
normalcy.
holidays and release.
Yeah.
I've said for years, Joe and I have walked down the street. You see people walking up towards us, and you see that they're heavy with the holidays. They look up, see these two idiots dressed in soot. Happy holidays for you. Merry Christmas.
You know what?
And
That
they
is
smile.
a great point. And kudos to all of you because the holidays can be heavy.
Yes.
Very.
They can be heavy. I don't know why. And then if you just say to yourself, like you said, open yourself up to the
Yeah.
to the gratitude.
This year also coming off the COVID, there's a lack of joy, and to find something like this where families can get involved, they can get candy canes from characters, they can have pictures taken with characters, see all the
Something
little
like it,
shows,
yeah.
selfies, go roast marshmallows at the frigate.
That's actually not
Look at
happening
this.
this year, depressingly.
Look at this
No?
nicety
Nope.
that I'm
They
putting right here.
can't
Look at
figure
this.
out. They couldn't figure out a way to sanitize. So
I guess we're not doing roasting marshmallows, but
So we have horse carriage rides. We have, of course, Santa's Workshop. We have characters walking just about any place in the street. And, of course, we should say to those watching really far away that aren't in this town or around it, it's a walkable village. So let's
Yeah, that's what
talk
I've
about
always
that.
loved about Port Jefferson.
It's
A
10
great
minutes in any
Truly
direction.
from
end to
left
end.
to
Hidden
right.
treasures
Yep.
everywhere.
East to west. Yep. We have a mayor that's now succeeded her mom and gone a step further in every direction of
13
this
years
festival.
she's been mayor.
So it's been really embraced. I think we should all hope
11.
for the future, right?
Yeah.
This is
That
her
it's going to
sixth
keep
term.
being embraced.
Walking around Port Jefferson with the families, and I'm the biggest grandpa on 2 feet. I love the little ones, and you give them a candy cane.
You know why you
and-
love them? Because their innocence isn't
And,
lost.
and they
The eyes looking
and
at
they
you.
light up. You give them a candy cane, they light up. Then you put the hat on their head, and they get all excited. Yay! Then you
Well,
get the
this
cookie.
hat has been on so many heads, young and old, over the years.
It's amazing you haven't gotten lice.
Well, neither did they.
I have to get into some secrets of the men here, if I may. Is this all your real hair?
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah,
Yep.
that's
They
mine.
start growing this out. This year has been even longer. Usually it's October. Start letting it go and letting it go
Right.
and letting it go, and then come after everything I'm doing in December, trim it down a bit. But I don't get it down all the way. It doesn't disappear at all.
Right.
But
I haven't seen my
when
chin
you wake
in
up, it's
15 years.
aiming to the right, to the left.
You know what's funny too? The mayor, she comes dressed up and does the, if you will, kickoff with Jeffrey Sanzel, and then she hands the key over to George. We have to mention this for the weekend because that's
For the
dangerous.
weekend.
You better.
Well,
you really have
did you hear
legislative
the-
power.
Did you
now.
hear the rules he passed?
What was the rules? There should be no rules.
I,
Oh, the
I saw-
propositions.
I have to come up with some things. Okay, ladies nights will now be 2 days. Gents, take advantage. Children will be allowed all the cake and candy they want and be able to stay up late. And in keeping with the season, there will be shots for everyone. With Margot and I and all the pubs when we get them afterwards. I think Fireball is the choice shot in town. And Everyone.
Brown sugar bourbon, by the way.
That and the
Been there,
recent
done
kick
that.
is the at the liquor store they're doing everything is peanut butter whiskey with the screwball.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, they all work.
Peanut butter whiskey, yeah.
So anyway, the mayor jumps into this chimney sweep mode,
Yeah.
which I think she really enjoys. You know.
Well, years ago we were meeting an after party, and Tommy's in town, and she goes to me, "I want to be chimney sweep next year." Okay. So during the summer, I bought her a top hat, decorated it. Karen made the knee wraps and whatever else it was. That opening ceremony that year, we stopped because she was giving the key on to somebody else. We made her a chimney sweep. Right, that gave her the hat, whatever, the cover,
Sewed
the
her
wraps.
up.
Karen put the leg wraps on her. I put the soot on her face. And
the
then
star is born.
And then the ladies that work with her all wanted to be sweeps.
So it's grown every
have a
year.
whole
And so
problem
this
right
year, unfortunately, our original, what was going to be Lord and Lady Mayor Brownlow, he ended up in the hospital with pancreatic cancer. So he's doing better.
He's
But he's got a long road, so he
Yes.
wasn't available. So we're like, at the last minute, he said, I can't,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be out of the hospital in time.
several weeks ago. He was at a rehearsal, and he goes to me. That was a Thursday. Next Monday was my final radiation treatment.
And it
He
didn't go
he
very
had
well.
lost so much weight,
Sure.
and so just feeling for the guy, reaching out via Facebook,
Yep.
and text messages and all this, and feeling blah 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 blah, and he's doing good. He's doing better, but he's very weak.
Of course. Yeah,
you know.
So
Radiation
by
does
Wednesday, he
that.
says, I know I'm not going to be, because he was hoping to at least make it for the festival, even if he just did opening and closing.
Right.
But he's still in the hospital. So
Yeah.
last minute, we're like, okay, what are we going to do? I says, well, why don't we twist it around? Because a couple of years ago, the mayor became a chimney sweep. So this year, not on the 25th, let's make the chimney sweep the mayor.
I got a text yesterday about that. I had an idea.
Change the role.
Really?
See, there's well over 100 events all told, right?
Yeah.
Through like I said, the two big days, Saturday and Sunday, Residence Night on Friday. Let's talk about the closing parade, which is interesting. You know, it's a good feeling. Ends at like pretty much the dark, right? It starts to be
Yes.
dark. The lights are on.
We start
By the
with
way, the village looks incredible.
Oh, I
It
love
starts with the
walking around
passing-
here at night.
Yeah, the new snowflakes on the poles. There's
Yeah.
a lot. There's a lot to
Oh,
it.
I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It starts with
My
the passing of the
blue lights up,
lanterns.
it's really
Right.
cool.
And what happens is we have two designated people to walk down either side of the street with the town crier, and they make their Christmas wishes as they pass on, whether it's for a loved one. Then we start the characters walking. Normally we would have the puppets,
Right.
but this year, unfortunately, because again with COVID, we had an issue with the person
Right,
doing the
right.
I
puppets,
didn't realize that. Okay.
which sadly we will not have the puppets
You're
this
not
year.
having the power. Okay.
Yeah.
Not even one.
Not one.
We're trying to get the one.
You can
but
get me in that because I love those. I'm going to puppet out.
The problem is getting the
I
volunteers
understand. Yep, I
to
understand.
even operate the
We talked
puppets.
about it. Yeah. The whole world.
That
has
was our
changed in that
biggest
regard.
problem this year, was getting student volunteers for
Yeah.
the day of the festival, the weekend of the festival.
Yeah.
Even the amount of actors I got to participate in the plays this year was
Yes.
way down.
Yeah.
I actually ended up with 9 girls and no boys.
You know what this comes down to? You know, the COVID, while it might be waning, and hopefully it is waning, there are still these ongoing issues. I talked to Jeff Sanzel, and
Yeah.
there's all these ongoing issues. So it's a great purview to the future, and certainly today's weather just said, hey, come on out, and that's all good. But we got a couple of years to rebuild the psyche
Exactly.
of the whole
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that's all the way in the world. All the way around the world.
thing. Right. Excellent.
But we're being very careful. All our children, even some of our children, even as they're performing, are still wearing masks because they haven't had at least one vaccine.
Right.
So I left it to the parents' decisions. It's up to you,
Yes.
your comfort levels. I will go along with whatever decisions you make. When they're inside, like the command center or the village center, away from everybody, they don't have to be masked. If they're eating but if they're walking about, if they're not comfortable, wear your mask.
Right.
When you're performing, you're not comfortable, wear your mask. If you feel we're not that socially distanced, like we are in rehearsals, wear the masks. Because my biggest concern is the children to be safe.
Yep. Let's do this. Let's go around the table, and then we'll wrap it up by looking forward to what might happen next year. Starting with you, Joe. You've touched upon it already. Your favorite things about the Dickens Festival weekend here in Port Jefferson Village. Come a little closer to the mic.
The families, the little ones, the puppy dogs. Just do what we do the best. We're here for one purpose, to make you smile and make you happy. Forget your worries and your fears and let it go. We're here to make you happy. A little silly, I just gave you a candy cane. Give a baby a candy cane, give mommy a candy cane, give daddy a candy cane, and then a little kid comes up. They light up like Christmas trees, you know? I want to see people smiling. Jordan and I have been doing this for 23 years.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're doing this 23 years.
We would have never thought about it.
But I'm telling you what, I wait. Around September, I started to get excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
By Halloween, I'm warmed
You're
up.
in it.
By Thanksgiving, I'm
Let's
in.
go to George and your favorite part of this weekend.
Well, like Joe says, seeing the folks smile. Like I said earlier, there's a very heavy spirit sometimes in the air. People walking down the street see these two idiots in soot and all that. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you. They smile, and if that point in time, it's lifted, and they smile and they're happy. You know what? We did our job. You know, the real star of the show, yes, we've all been doing this a long time now, but the real star of this show is Port Jefferson itself.
Yes.
Port Jefferson is a famous historical town with so much history to it. I'm still learning things every year.
Sure.
And I'm fascinated by
Right,
this
you
town.
peel back the layers.
Yes, what was here at one time.
I mean, even this building that I'm learning about.
Exactly.
I mean, a perfect example, which I'm going to show you after our podcast. Just some certain things I'm sure nobody's ever seen, so we're going to do that. Karen, your favorite thing, and then I'm going to go a little different with you. Something that you think could be improved for next year, and we talked a little bit about that.
The biggest thing I think we need to improve upon is more of the community involvement as far as children getting involved in the community for the actual event. We have our actors and everything else that rehearse starting in August, and we get them all costumed, and that's another whole storyline with the costuming, especially this year with getting the donation from Nan's family of over 250 costumes, not mentioning accessories. Getting those organized and ready to go. But it's to develop a sense of community in the people of Port Jefferson and the surrounding areas. We get a lot of people from Mount Sinai. We do get people from Port Jefferson.
Yep.
This year
And
was
Nassau
hard
County.
because of COVID, but next year will be better.
Yeah.
But
Nassau County
children,
big time comes here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, during normal times anyway.
Yeah. But we need to instill in the children a sense of community, and that this is your legacy. This festival can go on for another 30 years.
Easily. Yeah.
Easily.
At least.
I mean, we have the resources, we have the people willing to do it. Just get involved.
Yeah.
Get involved in your community, whether it's a food
You
bank.
get involved in this, you get the bug in you,
Yeah.
you see how interesting and how much fun it is.
It
You
only
wanna
happened
do
for
more.
me 4 years ago, so I have the bug for sure. Daniel, over to you. And if you could talk about this Dickensian era that I think, it was 3 or 4 people I said, hey, come tonight, dressed Dickensian. They didn't know what I was talking about. They had no idea what I was talking about.
That is remarkably common because people, for some reason, in my experience, either jump to Mary Poppins, Edwardian era, or drop it all the way back to Revolutionary War, forgetting there's 120 years in there.
Yes.
So, Charles Dickens was born in the 18th century and lived through the 1860s, I believe. Victorian era England.
Yes.
Which is really what we mean by Dickensian. I usually range it from the 18 teens to about 1840, which is when Tale of Two Cities was written, his later ones.
Right.
And he's basing 90% of his books on his childhood in England. So when we talk about Dickensian, we're talking about the 18 teens, right after the War of 1812 in London, when their morale was low. The city was in shambles. The Industrial Revolution was just getting really rolling. It was a dirty, disgusting place, and that's how he described it. But he also describes, and this is my favorite part of Dickens, is the spirit of the city and the strength that the people have to move on and continue and do better for themselves. That's why I personally love Great Expectations. It's the story of a kid who works and works and works and makes himself better. And that's really what most of Dickens is about, just making yourself better.
Right.
Making the world a better place.
Overcoming the struggles
Right.
in every way possible. That's good stuff. I really think we needed that.
At the time, when
That folk. That
Charles Dickens was a child, and even for many, many decades later, there were no child labor laws. And we have chimney sweep children, and they would literally be dropped into the chimney sweeps, because they're the chimneys, and sometimes they get stuck or they get emphysema and die. He was a boot blacker himself, working an ungodly amount of hours putting polish on boots and all this. And the punishments of the time, the whole, a lot of his books you find very depressing at times, but then I love
always
A
brings
Christmas
a sense of
Carol.
hope.
It's just the times. It's describing how things actually were.
Right, that's very true in that. Like, I read A Christmas Carol every year, sometimes a couple times before we do Dickens, to stir it up.
Yes.
And I've done that this year too. And I love the story. And we have so many various versions of films, and every time it really hits. I mean, we watch Muppets Christmas Carol, and when Beaker gives Scrooge his kerchief, forget about it.
Oh my God! What spirit! Fantastic. So the years again truly are the teens. I didn't realize that very
Yeah.
early in the 1800s.
Yes.
Right. It's figure about
And he's
18,
looking back?
1815, 1818 to about 1840.
So,
I didn't realize that. I
Christmas Carol's
kept saying to myself it was
1844.
1870 to 1890.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that was a rough period, right? What was the average age that a man lived to, man or woman
About
lived to?
47?
53.
Under I thought it was in the 50s.
It was 53 for women. I want to say it was either 50 or 49 for men.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
So
very-
we have a good
Now,
time.
obviously,
We have a
there
good-
were exceptions.
Right.
The wealthy tend to live longer. But
I don't know about that.
Some of the Revolutionary War heroes were living into their 80s,
yeah.
but a lot of them had farms.
Yeah.
Away
weren't
from the
living in
city
the
and the
cities.
smoke and soot and the drastic non-plumbing conditions of the time.
Yeah, the sanitary conditions would be the good word for it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that people don't realize why the women wore the skirts they wore with the hoops and everything.
Okay.
So that
Social distancing.
well, not only just social distancing, but so they would, when they would go home, they would have an overskirt. When they would walk in their door, that overskirt would get dropped at the front door.
Didn't
and-
know this.
Because it was filthy.
It was filthy dirty, but we don't want to bring that dirt in your house.
Gotcha.
So by dropping the underskirt, your
was good.
outer garment is still fine.
Gotcha.
But because that picked up all the dirt, they said, "Oh, your petticoats are showing." It actually was accurate.
Not too good for podcasting, is it? Sitting down and podcasting. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Is there any subject or thing that anybody wanted
No,
to say?
I just know that our aim for next year, for the 26th,
Yes, let's go to the future.
is to add more entertainment. We're going to try and locate a second horse and carriage, so we don't have the
that would
issues
be
with
good.
the sold out today and tomorrow.
Well, hopefully we won't have to use Eventbrite because it'll be more open.
Well, that also, and we also are going to be moving Santa's workshop
Oh,
away
yes.
from the,
That's right,
the
that's
row
right.
house because that's being
Yep.
an actual museum now.
That's right. Where's it going to? Santa's Workshop.
We're still working on that. We have to
Why
find a
don't you
location.
just let everybody
Reach
know.
out to the
might
company
be-
that
How
owns
with
the
this with the
McDonald's
children
property.
up and down the stairs?
Well, children can walk upstairs. Not like us.
Reach out to the McDonald's properties.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, that would be fantastic.
Well, now that lease is up finally with McDonald's, actually
didn't know
ended,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
it actually ended in 2020, but because of COVID, nothing
Yeah.
could be done with it. But now that lease is formally up,
So we're looking forward to that. From my old part, I'd like to get a second bus going around.
One thing I'd
that
like
was
to bring
our-
up is the fact that we've been talking for years about extending the spirit of the Dickens Festival in through December.
Yes, this is the
year,
first year.
Next Saturday and the following Saturday, that will be the Dickens Festival from 12 to 4 in
the
the
characters
afternoon.
will all be in town.
Yeah.
Next weekend?
This
Yeah,
past
the next
next
two
two
Next
weekends.
Saturdays.
The next
That's a
two
big
Saturdays.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good, yeah, it's good to know.
It's to help the shops. It's to help the people continue the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
I'm posting that on our Facebook page and on our lives as far as the gpjac.com.org.
Say that 3 times fast.
One thing I mentioned some years ago is yet to come about because I'm sure there's a lot of planning involved. Was even if we have a Dickens New Year's someplace,
That'd be awesome.
a village
Like a
center or
gala.
something like that. We could,
Porchev's really suited.
it
just to the whole
is
deal.
so suited
No
for
doubt.
this.
Honestly,
It's such a
the town
beautiful,
as a
beautiful
whole-
place.
it's got a storybook quality to it.
Yes, it does.
So it lends itself to things like this, or the Maritime Festival that they do, or the Sea Shanty Festival they just started up. It lends itself to that.
Yeah, more than any other place I can think of on Long Island. So
It's perfect.
let's keep it up. It's all about us spreading the good spirit.
Exactly.
And having
We
joy.
just want to keep this going. I'll do this as long as I'm able. I may be a little slower.
Time happens, unfortunately.
Yes.
Very good. Well, today we learned a lot about history, a lot about the past, and we just talked about the future.
Yep.
I thank you all for coming by. Your busy schedule. Hopefully you don't have too much more entertaining to do, but hopefully you do. because
Yes,
it
we
makes it
do.
happen.
When we love it.
I've got
Yeah.
years and years of it, sir.
When you love what you do, it ain't work. And we love what we do, and we do what we love.
I do too. I do too. Joe, George, Karen, Daniel, thank you again. We'll see.
Thank you,
I think we
sir.
should do this every year. You know,
That would be a great
Well,
thing.
One before and one during.
Okay,
Sounds
perfect.
As
Thank
long as
you.
I have more notice, because last time I didn't have enough sufficient notice to take off from work.
Absolutely.
Well, who knows? Maybe I'll be retired next year.
I'm going to 90.
Beautiful.
Everybody that hears us speaking right now, come down to Port Jefferson this weekend. Enjoy what we're doing.
Yes.
Come down
Come down when it's not Dickens.
and have a good time.
It's a
Port
great
Jefferson is
town.
going every weekend, 24/7. It never changes. It never stops. Come
How
down and
many
enjoy
times we
yourself.
have people, you're meeting people during the festival. How do I get involved? You want to be characters.
Yeah.
I recruited 3 people tonight. They had come to the festival dressed up. The little girl was freezing. I said, well, let me get her a shawl, because she said, well, we want to come back tomorrow and do this. I said, well, here you go. Here's a shawl for you. I said, I know where you live. I have her information. I said, and she says she's wanted to do the festival for years, but didn't know how to get involved. She just happened to run into me.
Yeah. So for those who are going to see this, if you're trying to get involved, find one of us. We're rather distinctive individuals, and we're about town. Again, all weekend this weekend and the next 2 Saturdays.
And we should also give the Arts Council website. Let's do that because that's really
There you go.
That's gpjac.org.
Greater Port
For Jefferson,
I forgot the
artscouncil.org.
book. I forgot the book. The book is called Dickens, Past and Present.
It
We're
will
asking
be.
everybody that was in Dickens, whatever you did, we want to find about it.
Are you making a book?
Yeah, it's going to be.
This morning at the
Good idea.
Village Center, gent comes up to me. His daughter Stacy started with us back in 1999 when she was 12.
Bartender Stacy?
Life went on.
Yep.
Also, she was with us. She was with us. Also, she wasn't there. Found out later she was in college.
Of course. Yeah.
Hey, perfect thing. Time on, she was back, and then she was working here, working there. Then here comes the little boy in the carriage. He just turned 14.
Yeah, time goes
Our,
fast.
our grandsons used to do the
Oh
festival
my
with us
God.
until 2 years ago
fast.
when they moved to
Time
Georgia.
keeps rocking.
And now they're 6 foot and 6
Yeah.
foot 5.
He's not 6'5",
All right.
he's 6'3".
So, thank you all.
Thank
No
you
worries.
for your
Keeping
time.
the spirit alive here in Port Jefferson Village, and have a great rest of the festival 2021.
Not
Ciao.
just us, it's the hundreds and hundreds
It's
of
the hundreds
volunteers
of
out
volunteers
there.
that do this.
Yep.
We're just a small part of the circuit.
So
On behalf of the volunteers, thank you.
So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and greetings in the
In
name of Mr.
Mr.
Dickens.
Dickens.
Amen.